Everyone for coming today and celebrating this new building with us and these new opportunities. 7 months ago, we were standing right outside here throwing dirt at each other. And here we are now in this beautiful new building that's a result of a great partnership and a great team effort between Utah State University, our state elected officials, our county elected officials, and our city elected officials. And it's been a hard, difficult road to get here, but it's been a fun one. And from it, I've learned a lot, and I've gained many new friendships, and for that, I'm very thankful. So I want to just take a few minutes and just reiterate the importance of this building that we're in, and this whole property that this building is housed on. If you look across the United States, you will not find another facility like this one. It's unprecedented. Nowhere else will you find a distance ed building where you can receive a degree. Nowhere else will you find a botanical center, extension services, an ag experiment station, an energy demonstration house, public ponds, protected wetland, all in one location. It's amazing to see how this has all come together, and it's again due to the partnership and the vision from our elected officials and from our administration at Utah State University, and of course our faculty. You know, I got to thinking, if you were, let's say, a child here in Davis County, 5-year-old child, you would start out in the 4-H youth program here on this property. You'd grow up through 4-H. You'd participate in the many activities that occur here, the field trips, the events, the fishing camps over at the ponds. You'd graduate from high school and you'd want to go to college. You could receive your degree right here in this same property. If you were to get married, you'd hold your wedding reception right across the street at the beautiful wetland building. After you're married, you want to learn about family finance, you'd want to learn about cooking and healthy living. You'd learn that from the extension services. And then that same child would have a child of their own and would repeat all over again. That same child could literally learn everything they needed to learn in life right here at this location. And when I started thinking about that, it's humbling. And again, I want to go ahead and start with some remarks from the partners and people that made all of this happen. And we're going to start, I'm just going to go through the agenda really quickly. I want to start with remarks by Dr. Ken White, our Vice President of Extension and Dean of the College of Agriculture. After Dr. White, we'll hear from Dr. Tom Lee, Dean and Executive Director of the Brigham Region. Then we'll have our Mayor of Kaysville, Mayor Steve Hyatt, who will speak to us. And then Commissioner Brett Milburn, our Davis County Commissioner. Then we'll have Dr. Stuart Barlow, our State Representative, who will speak. And then at that point, we'll pause, and I'll come up and we'll have a kind of a unique presentation. And then we'll finish out the rest of the agenda from there. So, Dr. White, please.
I need to just convey my deep appreciation for everyone who made this happen. And I know our president will speak to us later on, and her role is to thank everyone, but I think I'd be remiss if I didn't express my appreciation to the people in this room that really made this happen. Now, I'm supposed to talk about what impact is this going to have on Extension. And maybe I'd like to start off by how I started. That first summer when I was appointed to this position, I went around to every county in the state of Utah, and of course I stopped here in Davis County, and I went in the old building, and they told me that it was not earthquake safe, right? And that the public defenders and extension were housed in there. Well, I could understand why the public defenders were in there, but I really couldn't understand extension. Okay, so I think at that point is when we started to sit down and figure out a strategy of how to change that. And the remarkable thing was that it was so automatic that this site would be such a prime piece of real estate to be able to take and join our extension expertise with this beautiful facility where you can actually go out and experience what we are trying to teach and learn. So, you know, it's going to be transformational for the people of this community and for our extension people, faculty, to be able to interact with our clientele right here in this facility. I made the remark to Justin that it's one thing, and JD's here, it's one thing to take and show images and trying to explain what the queen larvae look like or the queen egg looks like, and you can probably get that, but it's totally a different ballgame to be able to say, you know, wait a minute, let's go out to the hives and pull that hive apart, start pulling out frames and actually see what that queen egg looks like. That takes the level of learning to a whole different place. And I think that's what's going to happen to extension programs within this community, and creating an environment where this truly becomes a model. As Justin said, I'm not aware of any other facility within our state or surrounding states where you have such a unique facility that partners and actually creates the extension footprint on ground and space such as this, the Utah Botanical Center. And then, of course, to marry that to the ability to be able to do degree work at Utah State University in this regional campus is awesome. I thought my last comments, I would just remind everybody of what the impact of extension is in this community. And I asked our financial officer to go back and figure out all the external or the one-time monies that have come in to the extension program that then are disseminated in this community as well as the rest of Utah. And I don't know if you realize, but over the last 4 years, cumulatively, we've brought $29.6 million to the state of Utah to augment the experiences of the communities in this state. Now that counts all of our extension faculty. That calculates to about $7.4 million every year. Now, looking at the same time period just for the extension faculty in this county, close to just shy of $1 million, with just shy of $250,000 of outside dollars that come to here, to this county, to help support learning and community members coming in and participating in our youth, to have wholesome, good opportunities to be able to come in and spend their time. So I think this is going to be transformational for the extension programs in this community. And once again, I want to thank everybody who's been able to make this happen. Thank you very much.
Well, we're really excited to be opening this wonderful addition on this building here in Kaysville. USU has been offering courses in Weber and Davis County off of the main campus for many years, from the early 80s. Sometimes those were in less than desirable locations. As a new faculty at Utah State, I taught a couple of courses in a storefront location on Washington in Ogden, right next to the plasma donation building. So I would step across the people that were in various states of repose waiting to go into the plasma center to donate and teach a class. And Gail Mahler, our director of the Kaysville Center here, and Susan Siebert, our longtime staff assistant here, have been in various locations, including on Weber State's campus in the basement of one of the student high-rise dorms right next to the loading dock, so they could enjoy the fumes of the diesel trucks that backed up and sat there idling as they were unloading, and have that waft into their office to enhance their experience. So sometimes we would get strange communications from them, and we'd say, "Have you been sniffing the diesel fumes again?" But not really. So 6 years ago, in April of 2011, we were able to open this other portion of the building, about 6,000 square feet, 11 classrooms and some office space. Now with this addition, another 10,000 square feet, additional classrooms, more office space, combining with Extension, it really, as Justin said, now you just left out that, where are you, Justin? You left out that student, that child being able to come here to school, and their parent being able to come here to school, or if you said that, I missed it.
Everything they need to learn, right?
Everything they need to learn. We can't offer all the degrees they might want. We're in Weber State University's service area that's designated by the State Board of Regents. But we can offer many degrees, especially in the College of Ag and the College of Natural Resources, that Weber State doesn't have programs in those fields. And we offer a lot of master's degree programs. So statewide, about 18% of our students are master or graduate students. The rest are undergraduate. Here at Kaysville, about 55% of our students are graduate students. And our most popular graduate degrees are in school counseling. Camille Odell, a coordinator for the school counseling programs here. We have the Masters of Social Work, lots of Masters of Education in various emphases, the Masters of Business Administration for the statewide broadcast delivery originates here in Kaysville. And our faculty come from Salt Lake and Logan and teach out of this location and broadcast those. So I just wanted to mention a little bit about some of our students. They're in general, the majority, about 2/3, are women. The average age is mid-30s. But this last term we had 37 people, 50 and older, coming here to take classes. And most of them have families and they're working. So when you think about providing access to people to get an education, we're talking about mostly women, mostly older, mostly working, mostly with families, being able to complete a college degree because we're located here, rather than having to uproot some way and be able to go to classes on the residential campus in Logan and be in class Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9:30. Most of our classes are one night a week for 2.5 hours. Sometimes students then are taking 2 classes on the same night. So they're coming at 5:15 to 7:45, 8 o'clock till 10:30. And that's after they've worked all day. Then they get home, and for a graduate program like the school counseling, we tell them that they need to plan on doing 15 to 20 hours of work outside of class a week, so to be sure they understand what they're taking on, in addition to spending maybe a night a week in class. Our students in the plant science program are primarily doing horticulture, landscape design and construction, and that's a big percentage of the students that are here, and we've got faculty from that department and the department head, Paul Johnson, here, and of course that's all in Dean White's college. So this is a great day, and really excited. Let me just give you one more glimpse into these students that we're serving. A year ago, our graduation of 2016, our student speaker for the Brigham region that includes Kaysville, Brigham City, and Tremonton. Was a master's graduate from here at Kaysville. Melanie Allen got her master's degree in special education. She's not unlike a lot of our students. She had had some school, then she got married, started a family, was out of school for 20 plus years, came back and got her bachelor's degree, came then and got her master's degree in special education here, and is a special ed teacher in one of the local schools working with high-risk kids. So when you meet students like that and hear what they've accomplished and what they've dedicated in terms of time and effort, and then the ripple that's going to go out in their family and those children who will be more likely to get a college education and so on. It's a really rewarding thing to be part of, and to have a facility like this where they can come and not be in some of the other places that we've taught courses from over the years. This is really, really exciting. So again, I want to add my thanks to Dean Whites, to everybody that's made this possible, and want to thank our colleagues with CRSA Architects and our colleagues with R&O Construction for designing and building this beautiful facility. And we're happy to have you all here and spread the word. Thank you.
Well, I'm also very honored and grateful to be here with you this morning. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Steve Hyatt, and I serve as the mayor of Kaysville City. I had the great opportunity of meeting our Kaysville representatives, Matt and Heidi. I didn't even realize, I saw their tags as Kaysville representatives, so now you have to stand and wave so everybody can see who you are. All right, let's give them a round of applause. Kaysville representatives. They're like, wow, we just met you. What are you doing? I feel extra blessed because this may sound a little weird, but I woke up in Logan this morning and was right next in the heart of Utah State campus, and then come down here and be right here on the Utah State Kaysville campus as well. The good news is I was speaking to the Utah City Recorders Association, and they had me speak for 2 hours in their general session. So the good news is I'm pretty much talked out, so you don't have to listen to me for very much longer. But just a couple of things I wanted to mention. First of all, I apologize to Mayor Cronin. She's here from Perry, and she has said next time you're driving by Perry, get some peach pie. But I was in a rush to come down here, and so I'm still going to take you up on that, Mayor Cronin. So it's great to see Mayor Cronin and I serve on the League of Cities and Towns board together. I also just have to apologize in advance. Our fire chief is retiring today after 37 years of service to Kaysville City. His ceremony is at 1 p.m. And he said, Mayor, we're ready to start as soon as you get here. So I don't want to, no disrespect to Commissioner Milburn or to Representative Barlow or to President Crockett, but as soon as I'm done talking, I'm going to sneak out if that's okay, because they're waiting to start until I get there. But I just wanted to mention how much I appreciate the partnership we've had with Utah State University. As I started as an elected official 10 years ago, I've been serving 8 years as mayor and 2 years on the city council prior to that. I decided not to seek re-election, so I am wrapping up my service to the city at the end of this year. But as I look back over that 10 years and some of the discussions we had, like, wouldn't it be cool if they had a building out there on the ponds, which later became Wetland Discovery Point? Wouldn't it be cool if they had a distance education classroom right here in Kaysville where someone could come and earn a degree? And as you just heard, I always want to call Vice President White, Dean White, Dr. White. I'm always not sure, but as you heard him talk about as well, that reality is now here. And just a couple of years ago, when this building to the north of us was operating, and we had some conversations with Justin and with the county commissioners about just doing things that make sense. We went and talked to some of our legislators, and I think it's really important. I know that Representative Barlow is going to speak to you in a minute, but it's really easy for people to assume that elected officials have no problem bringing home stuff for their own communities. But I would submit to you that it's just the opposite. When you're a legislator that represents a particular area and you're pushing to get funding for your area, that can come with a little bit of maybe criticism. But as we discussed ways to fund this and do this, Representative Bartle didn't hesitate for 1 second to speak up and speak out and say, yeah, I'm happy to put my name on that, and I'm happy to make that request. And then Representative Wilson, Senator Adams, Senator Stevenson, both, I was going to say behind the scenes, but not even so much behind the scenes, also put their names behind it. They recognize, not just in our area, but regionally, the importance of partnerships and really put their names on the line to ensure that, that this came about. And I think we should give them a round of applause as well. The last thing I would just say is we appreciate the partnership. We've been honored to be part of it and support it, but all the credit goes to you. It is really, really easy to get behind something that you genuinely believe in. And the passion that all of you have, the dedication that you have for Extension, for the classes that go on here at this facility, the new facility and the existing facility, and just the general impact you have on our community is tremendous. So thank you for everything you do. Thank you for making it easy for us to have your back, because I'll tell you, there's not a community anywhere in the state that wouldn't do anything to have a place like this in their community. So on behalf of a very grateful Kaysville, thank you for all you do. Thank you for being part of our community. And thanks for excusing me early. Thank you.
Mayor, before you step out, please tell the chief I'll be there shortly. Okay? I'm Brett Milburn, and one of the 3 county commissioners, and on behalf of the commissioners, Commissioner Elliott and Commissioner Smith, we appreciate the opportunity to be part of this project and be here today. Dr. White, you talk about, coming into the old Memorial Courthouse, and yes, there were only a couple of folks that were left in that building when we built our new building. But for USU Extension, it wasn't because we don't love Extension that we left them there. It's because we do love them that we left them there, so we could provide and find ways and push ourselves to make something like this a reality. This is something that I think has kicked around in the back of our minds for a lot of years. I think we even had discussions with Sean, 10 plus years ago when I first came into office of, what can we do to better partner and whatnot. And I think in some of our minds it's been, wouldn't it be great or wouldn't it be better to bring things all in one place, but never really knew how to make that happen. But it's amazing when circumstances present themselves. For the county, it started with a downturn in an economy that provided some opportunities. So there were some silver linings that we're able to build a new facility and put some things in line. But then other folks that come forward with things that you're doing at Utah State. Of course, we couldn't do it without our folks at the legislature. And it's just so gratifying personally, and then as a county, to be able to really walk the talk as far as a partnership goes. This is just the poster child for how things ought to operate within government. And we talk about finding efficiencies and things of that nature all the time, but this has been an absolute no-brainer as far as bringing all aspects together. And I'd never really put it into the context that you did, Justin, as far as basically from cradle to grave and the cycle repeating itself. Absolutely phenomenal that all of that is right here in one spot. And like I said, I couldn't be more proud from the county perspective to be part of that process and make this happen. And on the grander scale, I mean, we talk about how great it is for a citizen of the county, but what this does now, particularly with Extension and everything that's done, and of course even on the education side, we have folks that are from outside the county that come here. And we look at it from events that are held, like baby animal days, the farmers market, the distance learning opportunities. We have folks that are coming from outside the county and bringing attention to the county, and then there's an opportunity for them to maybe stay a little longer. Hopefully, maybe as they come and make this part of a stop and spend a little bit more time, eat in our restaurants, purchase gas and things of that nature, and the ripple effect is tremendous. And what a better place to be than we've got absolutely fantastic frontage right here on I-15. And just there's I cannot think of one negative thing in what we've been able to accomplish here. And so excited to see the opportunities that it presents our local folks and folks throughout the region, and proud to be a pillar of an example to the rest of the state on things that can happen when we work collectively and where we work together. And it's been a real honor to be part of this process and work hand in hand with each one of the partners. And let's move forward and let's see a lot of great use out of this facility. Thank you.
Well, this might sound like a broken record. I appreciate all the words that have been spoken about how this is a joint effort with a lot of people. And I'll probably go more into detail, but boy, can you imagine what the Linford family may be thinking? Is that Mike? So you want- It should have been on vibrate anyway. But can you imagine what the Linford family may be thinking as they look down on this piece of property, their old farm and the LDS church with the ponds. I remember this area very well as a child, and it used to be Highway, I think 68, if I remember right, that is now I-15. And there was a road, access road, that came right off Highway 68 that went right by the ponds, which is now the frontage road that you use. And there was nothing here, literally, for even out in Centerville, there was nothing. There was all the way in. Then you had to go, several miles in before you got into the housing in Kaysville. And what a transformation! What an amazing place this has become. I have a son who's going to school in New York, and I had a chance to spend, a few days with him, and it's just right next to Central Park. And I marveled at how many people use Central Parks for daily activities. If you had a birthday party, you went to Central Park. You were getting married, you'd go out to Central Park. It was just so integrated to that society that was their safe haven, their place where they could function and really have the space to be a family, even businesses would have outings there. It united the whole island, I think, and we're no Central Park. I realize that. We're a long ways from it. But in 50 years, we may be more like a Central Park to this community, to this area. Had the chance to attend a event here about 2 weeks ago. It was entitled From Farm to Table. And so as all the food was freshly made, Sean Olson here was a big part of that success. And I thought, I want to get out there and just see what's going on and get a feel of it. And as I came in through this, I say older part of the building. It's actually still very new. But it was electrifying. It was well attended. I kind of went past one classroom that I thought this event might be at. I didn't realize it was over at the Utah House. And it was jam-packed. There was not a seat available in that classroom. And I understand, I could be wrong, but there's probably around 350 to 500 students here.
450 this semester.
Is that right, Dr. Lee? But I can tell you, it was exciting. It was like, being in a major campus. There was a lot going on, a lot of people here. And then just across the aisle at the farmer market, it was buzzing with people too. It was on a Thursday, and they probably had, 100 people there. And then I was thinking this little dinner event might have 10, 15 people there. And there was a possibility of some rain, so they ended up moving it inside. Is that right? And I think we had 50 people jammed in this little space. And you'd think, oh, that would be so uncomfortable. But the people were fascinating. All of the people seemed to have a legitimate tie to this park, this area. And they had taken classes. They had been part of the extension program. And they were thrilled to be there, and they were a lot of fun to be around, and the food was absolutely fantastic. But I just want to bring that up to give you a picture, if you haven't already had the opportunity to be here for an event, for the class, or for some activity, how exciting this campus is becoming to this community. And how we hope this will drive, in many ways, an economic tie to this region. And I think it will be. I think this may be a niche that we can see businesses co-operating with us, coming and joining us. So I hope you feel that excitement. I certainly did. Now, how this all happened, I think, to me, I still look back and kind of laugh. Mayor Hyatt kind of alluded to this, but it was not an easy thing. Not that I had the great part to play. It was a team effort from everybody involved, from our commissioners. Certainly, Senator Jerry Stevenson had a lot to play in it. And I now say at that point, he wasn't the chair of the economic development or the appropriation committee and so forth. He is now, and I joke with him that I think he's the most important person in Utah under that key position of the appropriation committee. But I think at that time you were on Beetle, weren't you?
Yes, either that or vice chair.
Yeah.
I've been vice chair.
Okay, and so we, I think by working together, Stuart Adams has a lot to play in this. Brad Wilson certainly did. Really, all of our officials from even northern Utah was willing to come in and play a part to help us push this along. And I personally was thinking 1,250,000. We can ask that, but we might be lucky to get 300,000. So forth, looking at what, at that time I was on Beetle as well. And so I kind of talked to my dad a little bit. I said, hey, what would you do if you needed some of this money? And he said, you know what, I'd run it through the infrastructure. Because at that point we involved some infrastructure with the first appropriation. And the second was a real stretch, to say the least. But it turned out to be the key. And so we ran it through infrastructure, and I still thought we didn't have a very good chance to get that large amount of money in really a down year, because all of the committees were having troubles with having funds to distribute. But it must have been meant to be, because all the pieces fell into place, and I still consider it a little minor miracle. And then the year after that, to run through the same committee an appropriation for a building request, and it involved a little bit of infrastructure, but it was primarily a building request. And the universities have already lined up for their priorities, and these are multi-million-dollar buildings. And to be able to get that through the committee, I'll always look back as really a stroke of luck that we picked the right committee, and we're very fortunate to have this. And now that we are here, doesn't this fresh paint smell great? To all of you? There's nothing like a brand new building. And but I hope you all appreciate what we have here, the gym, what it will become in the future. I think the future is only extremely positive and bright for this community. And certainly appreciate Utah State. I have 3 girls going to Utah State at this time, so we have a strong tie to it. One of them's in the vet school that Vice President White oversees, and a great program. I think that's a good partnership to have you down here a lot. You know, yeah, and certainly Tom Lee, a great advocate for this area as well. So we're fortunate, but appreciate having a small part to play with this, and I thank you all for attending. Thank you very much. I apologize. I was kind of waiting for President Crockett to come in. I didn't see you in the corner. I would have ended this a long time ago. Come on up.
We're going to take a little time out, though. Matt Burton, can you come up? Matt Burton's our president of our Kaysville Campus Student Association. And a little bird told me about a special event that President Crockett celebrated yesterday.
Oh, no.
So don't be mad, but if you can come up on behalf of USU Kaysville, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, we just wanted to wish you happy birthday, give you some flowers and a little card, and thank you for your time and your efforts for supporting us.
Thank you so much.
For sure.
Thanks.
Now what?
All right. Well, it was my birthday yesterday. We're just not going to say how old I am, though. That's a deep, dark secret that only a few are privy to that. But that is absolutely gorgeous. Wow, this is amazing. It seems like just the other day we were standing out in a lightning storm doing the groundbreaking. And now we have this. And it's gorgeous and it's efficient. And I just think it is an amazing opportunity for this community. Last at the groundbreaking, I think I was one of the first speakers. And so then afterwards, people were like, oh, all the great things have been said. Now I'm at the end, and I'm in that same situation. All the great things have been said already. I'm hearing words like exciting, partnership, community, economic development, and how wonderful together we have been able to build this building. But I do have to say, bringing together the community, the state, and Utah State, your land-grant institution, really does make incredible things happen. And I just wanted, I was listening through all the various talks, and I want to say that, you know, again, the land grant is an incredible model where you're bringing research, education, and outreach all together. But I want you folks to know that Utah State is actually an unusual land grant. As time has gone on, you know, over 100 and almost 50 years since the creation of land grant, a lot of states and a lot of those institutions have lost what it meant to be part of a community, to actually give back to those who we live with and we care about. But Utah State has always kept that mission very, very front and center. The other thing I think that we also needs to be really excited about is the state of Utah. Where else do we roll up our sleeves, come together in this kind of partnership, bring what is a relatively modest amount of money to a project? It's 1.3 million, was that what it was? 1.3 million from the state, and we got this. And I have to say, that's what you get with your land grant. It's not 70 million, it's not 50 million, it's 1.3 million. And we are talking outreach programs. We are talking from cradle to grave. We are talking about community opportunities and gatherings. We're talking education, we're talking research, and we're talking outreach right here for this community. So I was actually thinking that this is an incredible example of what this state can do. And on the one hand, I think we should all brag about it and talk about it and invite people here to see it. But I can't help but caution Senator Stevenson and Representative Barlow, because I think if other communities saw this, they would want exactly what we have done here. And so it's a special thing. Many of us have incredible ties back to this community as we've seen the Utah Botanical Center's dream be implemented. And so it's just, this is an incredible celebration. I just want you to know that I've had a lot of groundbreakings through my life, but this is probably one of the ones that touches me the most because we did it together. We have built something that is going to make a difference. And so on behalf of everyone at Utah State, I want to thank the state legislation that brought this. I want to thank the community that kept us going. And I especially want to thank CSRA, our architects, R&O Construction, and most of all, those people at USU who saw this as a possibility, and we've done it. So thank you.
One last remark, as this building was being completed and we started setting up a scheduling system, we talk about the importance, again, Commissioner Milburn, I think you alluded to how this is important to Davis County, but how it's becoming a regional destination. And we have people calling from now all over the state wanting to reserve rooms and have meetings and events here at this facility. And that's even before the building opened. So this is going to be a regional destination. It's going to make a difference in people's lives, and that's exciting. So next we have our official ribbon cutting. So we will all go out back to the main entrance where you came in. There will be a ribbon that will be across the hall. The entire group, if you'll stay on the south side or the new part, we're going to have actually Representative Barlow, since he was the sponsor of this funding, cut the ribbon. We're honored if you would do that for us. So you will be on the north side so that we can get pictures of it. And we will cut the ribbon and we'll come back in here. We have wonderful refreshments. And then the rest of the afternoon is actually a public open house where Dr. Lee has brought Aggie ice cream for the public. And that will go until 4 o'clock, and we'll continue the celebration throughout the afternoon. I want to specifically thank Tammy Firth, who is the executive assistant to Dr. Ken White in the College of Ag and Extension, and also Stacy Stone here in our own office. They're the ones that put this event together, and they always do a fantastic job. So let's give them a round of applause. All right, let's all go out into the hall and cut the ribbon.
Everyone get a hand on this. Come on. Okay. All right.